You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle.
Jim Chester here. I got Luke Lotriet over there. Yeah, other side. I'm in Grand Valley, which is in Grand Junction, the western slope of Colorado, which I like to say no one lives. He's in Plainfield, Illinois. How far is that from Chicago?
Oh, like 45-minute drive.
Okay. So if you guys can't tell from that 45-minute drive comment there, he is from South Africa. He came over to Palmer to play rugby, and he's going to tell you about that experience from how that transitioned him to be in the Midwest. But first, I'm just going to say this episode is brought to you by Local Gold. If you guys want to get better web presence with better reviews and be recognized on page 1 of your Google search in your community, reach out to Local Gold. They'll help you out. Plus, they give kickback for everybody who uses their services back to Palmer Rugby. There we have it. So, Luke, welcome to the Chiro Hustle Show.
Thanks, Jim.
So let's dive into that first question. What was it like going to Palmer College Chiropractic all the way from Durban, South Africa?
So picture San Diego. That's pretty much what Durban's like, and that's where I came from to Iowa. But I think when I was 21, I just excited to go to the States. And I used to work at a restaurant on the beach in South Africa. And some Americans came in, and I was all excited, saying I was going to go study in the States. And when they asked me where, I said Davenport, Iowa, and they just started laughing. So I knew something was up before I came over.
So did you grow up playing rugby then?
Yeah. I started probably 7 or 8, 9, somewhere there. 9 years old.
So everybody out there listening, it pays off to get into athletics early.
Yeah.
So you come over with your duffel bags. You come to Davenport, Iowa. Talk to us a little bit about that experience on the first year that you came to Palmer.
It was a big change. Some of my buddies that are watching this are probably laughing right now. Some things we can't talk about on live video. But yeah, it's totally different. I mean, coming. Yeah, there we go, boy. But it was a huge difference from South Africa. I mean, night and day. Just yeah.
So did you want to become a chiropractor, or did you just want to go play rugby?
Yeah, I was actually at chiropractic college in South Africa for 3 years. So it was a 6-year course back there. And in the 3rd year, they wanted us to do pharmacology. And I was like, whoa, time out. That's not what I want to get into chiropractic for. So that's when I actually spoke to my chiropractor back home. And they said, hey, well, they have, they play rugby over there. And then one day I was sitting on the toilet, Christmas time, reading a rugby mag. And they had said, hey, if you want to play rugby in South Africa, or if you want to play rugby in the States, contact this guy. And I got off the toilet, called the guy, and he knew Ron O'Brien. So it was meant to happen.
Hey, that's the power of advertising.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about. I know that we have a symposium coming up, April 13th and 14th, back at the Fountainhead, Davenport, Iowa. What are you looking forward to at that event?
Just obviously going back to Palmer, seeing a lot of the guys I played with, guys that played ahead of me. It's fun to meet the guys and the girls that are there now that we haven't met yet. Just share some of the stories and some of the things we've learned that might have helped them over time. Because I'll tell you what, the guys, when I was at Palmer, like Dale Smith and Dr. Fred and a bunch of the other guys, when you listen and you actually listen to it, they got a lot of good nuggets there that can help you in the future.
Oh, sure. Plus there's support from, like we like to say, inside out.
Yep.
And you were talking about on off camera how some of your best friends are guys that you played rugby with.
Yeah. And we all still hang out to this day.
So April 13th, 14th, at the Fountainhead. We're about, 2 weeks away now? Crazy. You guys can, 10 days away. You guys can, I'll put the link in the comments down here. So if you did want to come and check out the event, it's 2 days back at the Fountainhead. There's 2 games of rugby being played. We have amazing speakers from all around the country coming to give presentations. Most of them are homegrown talent that came through the Palmer Rugby group. So we got Sokoloff, who's the chiropractor for the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's just outstanding that we have an NFL chiropractor there speaking. We have Brad Glowacki there talking about concussions. Freddie Schofield, who's also from South Africa, will be speaking, just firing everybody up about principles of chiropractic and keep the momentum going. He might make you laugh. He might scare the shit out of you. So who are you looking forward to seeing speak at the symposium this year?
All of them. They've all got someone to take away, right?
Sure. And then we have Matt Hartenberg talking about heart rate variability, which I'm really excited to learn about because I don't know much about it. So I'm looking forward to seeing some guy that's put his time and interest into something, giving like the top line presentation on that information, which I think is really, really cool. And then we have Kevin Herron, who's also homegrown talent that will be doing extremities. And last year he was, I think, talking about shoulders, but this year he'll be talking about knees, which I think is a very common issue with athletes. And everybody can sharpen their extremity adjusting up, I think. And then, am I missing anybody? Who am I missing there?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
Don't know.
I haven't looked at the list.
So I gave a pretty fresh inclusion on who's going to be speaking. Maybe I'll come up with 1 or 2 that I didn't think about during this conversation here. But let's talk a little bit more about you. What would you have done differently if you could go back in time during the education process? I know there was something about maybe clinic abroad or preceptoring. Yep.
Yeah, those 2 things I didn't get to do. The clinic abroad, I wasn't able to do it just financially. Coming from South Africa, the finances to pay for clinic abroad. But I think that would have been awesome to do. And then a preceptor. I think for those students that are listening right now, I think a preceptorship is awesome to do if you're able to do it. We're always happy to take people in at our offices, let them come in and see the way we operate. But preceptorship is huge. You get out of school and you actually get into a real office and see how to treat patients, communicate, and just, I think it's awesome.
But you got 3 years of clinic abroad. And then you ended up staying. So let's talk a little bit about the transition in practicing in Illinois and what it was like coming from the whole journey to where you are today. I know you have 2 clinics.
So I graduated back in 2003, and I actually went to go work for another rugby alum, Mark Glynn, out in Bloomington, Illinois. And it was actually cool because when I graduated, he coached the ISU rugby team. So Mike Zergott, I'm going blank right now, but there was 4 or 5 of the guys that came from that rugby team that we coached out there to Palmer. So there was a bunch of the boys. So we stayed connected, but I worked there for 2 or 3 years before I moved up to Plainfield and opened my own office in 2006. And then, life is growth, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. So things are always changing. We're always learning. We opened another office bought an office in 2015 out in Villa Park, and we have another doc that's running that one right now. But things are always growing, right? That's a good thing.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle.
No, it's really cool. It's very interesting to see how somebody that keeps their momentum in the right direction, as Freddie Schofield would say, mochichu, moving forward without hesitation. And that's something that all ruggers, I think, pick up going through that rugby family at Palmer. Is there's so many people that are out there that are getting massive success and taking care of the community the right way with the chiropractic services that they provide. Now, I know one of the things that you want to discuss was communication. Why is it so important for chiropractors to communicate the story and the principle of chiropractic to their communities?
Well, just communication with patients in general. Okay. I think a big thing is meeting patients on their level. So, sometimes I meet docs that have just graduated, and I think that when you walk across the stage, it doesn't change who you are. It just allows you to go and teach and help the community, and be able to do it, from knowledge. But I do see some chiropractors that'll graduate and that doctor gets to the head a little bit and they use big terms and big words, and people don't want to hear it. They want to know that you care and they want to know that you can help them, and be on the same level.
Yeah, we have to learn how to communicate chiropractic consumer grade. Yeah. Like there's a colleague talk that you have, and then there's the patient-based talk that you have. 100%. And people are really interested in getting rid of their ache and pain, which I know that it kind of stinks because we're all about the expression of human potential. But people don't realize that when you start getting adjusted, the headache goes away, the shoulder pain goes away, that the pain becomes resolved. But that's also something into the human potential movement. So sure. People are really interested in symptoms. A lot of times I was always told when I was out doing marketing events that symptoms sell. But really, chiropractic is about unlocking the innate intelligence within somebody, allowing them to express their life fully. Because I always tell people, when you don't think about pain, guess what you get to do? You get to think about abundance. When you don't think about headaches, you get to think about being productive.
For sure.
And it unlocks people, but most people think that you have to have some type of a symptom. And then the chiropractor thinks that they have to drill into this person that we're going to fix your subluxations on day one.
Yeah. And you talk about abundance and positivity. That's one thing in our day one. And I know a lot of guys that I know in the community watching this probably, but we like to set goals. So if you come to me, instead of talking about your pain or your headaches, or your back pain, we like to talk about what do you want to do better or what do you want to do again. So the whole way through their care plan, we're talking about, hey, are you running? Or, what was your goal? So instead of saying to you, how's your low back and focusing on the negative, we're always looking at the positive and moving forward.
Well, I think honestly, chiropractic and their communication tactic is changing. Like even a month ago, like the people I was talking to a month ago, like the conversations like we're having today have changed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's a great learning curve right now in the chiropractic circles that people are like, so this is what Jim Chester's talking about to all of his people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I want to do that too.
Yeah, it has to change, and the way you communicate has to change.
It's
the way I used to communicate 15 years ago to today is totally different.
I know. If you look back at just things that you used to do, like 15 years ago, with the text message or something, like it had to be life and death for us to send a text message to somebody.
I think back 15 years ago how I did a report, an ROF on a patient. I don't know how I signed anybody up.
Well, people always want an answer to, they want solutions.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody's in crisis mode, they want somebody that is qualified to give them a solution.
For sure.
That's the same reason why we go to an auto mechanic and we don't diagnose our cars by ourselves, because we trust somebody that's gone through the training and the process to become an expert in that angle. So we're like, $700. Sure, I'll pay you because I trust you and you're going to fix what I need done. Yeah. So same thing for our bodies. When we go in, we have a concern, we talk to somebody that's an expert in that area, and then we're like, okay, what's it going to cost? Okay, let's start. Yeah. But people will invest in themselves if it's for an outcome that improves their lives or some solution that they're dealing with.
For sure.
So let's see what else I have here on the questions for you. Scholarships. Let's talk scholarships. Why? I know you came over and Palmer helped you out in a major way, but it took a lot of effort on your end also. Let's talk about how you were a part of that team, not only coaching but president and treasurer, and some of the things that helped you finance your degree through Palmer.
Well, I'll say it, and I've said it a lot. If it wasn't for Palmer Rugby, I wouldn't be where I am today. So the scholarship was. If I didn't get the scholarship that I got, there's no ways that I would have been able to afford to come to the States and go to Palmer. So not even if not even a quarter of it I could have paid. So, it's Palmer Rugby that puts me where I am today. So that's huge. But I was a president and coach the whole way through my time at Palmer. So I started try 1 as president and finished 10th try as coach. So it was hectic trying to coach your buddies and make them do tackle bags when they're late and make your roommate do a tackle bag and then go back and be his buddy at the house. So it was tough.
Yeah. With great vision comes great responsibility. And when you have positioning to be able to be an influence for multiple facets, you have to have different styles of responsibility. And one of them is being your brother's keeper. And one of them is giving influence when you don't want to, and being influential when you don't want to wear that badge. Keeping a high regard of honor to push your team into playoff situations. Yeah. So I know that we've covered a lot of cool stuff here. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you'd like to talk to our audience about today?
Not that I can think of offhand.
Cool.
Just to get my word out there to all the guys that I went to school with. I was there 99 to 03. We need a showing at the Symposium. I've been putting some texts out, and you get the maybe I'll ask my wife. I'll try to get there, but I'd like to see a bigger showing from those years from when I was there. So you guys know who you are. Get your butts over there.
And I know there's a program that you guys started called Bring a Rugger. And you guys should all be bringing somebody with you, whether it's your family or another mate that you played rugby with there at Palmer. And then I'll just give a quick reminder. The event is April 13th, 14th, back in Davenport, Iowa at the Fountainhead. I mean, you guys get a chance to get re-dipped with philosophy, a couple big rugby games. I know and here's another thing, there's 10 scholarship opportunities for women rugby players. There's 20 scholarship opportunities for the men's rugby team. I mean, imagine if you had that type of leverage back when you were there. If you had 20 guys that were getting, financial assistance to go there just to play rugby, I mean, the team would have been, you guys would have won those years.
For sure, which we did, 0-1 Final Four.
That's cool, man. You got a good champion spirit, and I appreciate the opportunity to catch up with you today. And I look forward to seeing you back at the homecoming or the Symposium event, and just sharing some more fellowship and tell some more stories and make some more legends.
Ones where people aren't, more stories where people aren't listening.
Those are good stories. And just to let everybody know that this episode was brought to us today by Local Gold. They are your solution for internet services when it comes to having websites that actually are functional and work for you and getting you reviews and page 1 placement on Google. And Dr. Luke, man, I really appreciate you spending some time with me today on this morning edition of Chiro Hustle. I always like to tell everybody in closing, you're only one story away. Keep hustling. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.